beautiful crystal ball that my friend from the Chase Goddess offered me a couple of years ago. It's really nice. It's linked to the center, heart center, and sometimes I put a beautiful candle in. It's really beautiful. Yeah, so hello everybody. I'm gonna speak about what I spoke yesterday in French about menopause, because I did some video about that a couple of years ago or 3 years ago. They're on my YouTube, so you can go and check it out. But I have requests for people who have not seen the video or who ask me about menopause, what to do, and me, I can only speak about my experience. So, I spoke quite a lot about this time of beginning of menopause, how it has been improving for me. Not really physically, even if I never had very much about sweat, hot flashes, but I had sweat during the night, very, very strong. So menopause for me lasted almost 10 years. So some people ask me what to do, and it's difficult because it's particular to everybody. Everybody is different, so you have to find your way. For me, the first thing that can help to go through this is to avoid sugar. So to avoid all the processed sugar, and to avoid sugar that is not, you can still have fresh fruits, because the vitamin and the energy of fresh fruits is very important for you. But avoid all the processed sugars that are found even in the processed meal. Me, I never buy food already processed, so I cook myself fresh food that I buy at the farmer's market. So I avoid also to buy in supermarkets. But this is up to you what you can do. But for me, there are things very basics. You have to understand that your body is able to deal, your body is a natural organism, and his nature is under the law of nature of regeneration. So what is going on is that if you put things in your body that are not as, I would say, simple. I don't speak about pure, I speak about more simple element as nature in your body. This is going to interfere with your hormones. In the contrary, if you put very good alive element to feed your body, this is going to also have an impact on hormones, but on a positive way, and going to make you able to have a better consciousness of the world, of yourself. You're going to see more clearly about issues. They will not become so difficult, because you're going to go with the flow. So what is important is to have food as simple and pure and not process as much as possible. And if you process it when you're going to eat, because after there is a kind of transformation that happens with time. Sugar is the most important. I had the experience with sugar because I realized I was used to drink, especially this evening on my meal, a glass of red wine that I loved. And suddenly I was in my mid-40s. Menopause for me started around 42, 43. Maybe because I had my period very young. I was 10 and a half when I got my period. I've been also mother very young, at 17. And maybe all this, everything was early for me, so maybe menopause was early as well. So I cannot say that I really suffered tremendous pain, but I was very, very tired. And I noticed when I was drinking a glass of red wine, the day after, I was totally destroyed. My face was really, really down. It was really remarkable. I could not make the link as well. And I was feeling really, really tired. At that time, I was living in New York, and I was going 4 times a year in Paris to see my team, I would say, the people who accompany me to take care of myself. And through them was a naturopath and my gynecologist. She was homeopath as well, a naturopath, and an osteopath. And my osteopath explained to me the process of sugar, what it's create with the hormone balance, and told me, unfortunately, now you have to suppress that. I was not really towards sugar things, but it's true that I was eating quite ice creams regularly, and not always that I was making myself, and also the wine, the red wine that I loved. So when I noticed the relation I experimented in my body, I stopped to drink red wine for 7 years, and I was not missing it at all. It was funny because I experimented with different alcohol, and people told me you should try white wine. Sure, white wine was easier, but suddenly I felt like craving. It's funny because I didn't like that. Whiskey. And I didn't like whiskey, and suddenly came to my mind, I was like salivating at the idea of a whiskey. So I tried, and actually whiskey was not affecting me at all like red wine, because red wine has the tannin and it's very more heavy in a way. But it's not for that I started to drink whiskey regularly, not really, occasionally. So this was the experiment in my body. I was very, very, very tired. So this menopause, in fact, obliged me to slow down and made me able to learn how to rest, something I was unable to do before. I was always on action, always making something, going somewhere, making some kind of sport, quite extreme, really. And this obliged me because I could not anymore. So menopause, it's time to pause. It's a time to pause. And when you pause, there is something that is happening. Especially if you pause in a healthy environment. So this is also the thing I wanted to put the emphasis on. In your home, that is the place where you rest, where you restore yourself, where you create your sanctuary. It's very important to don't have chemicals, to surround you with natural, if possible, organic fibers, because these things have emanation. So it can be also for the paint. You can have lime paint or milk paint instead of chemicals. There are a lot of great things on the market for that. Maybe more difficult in the US, but I think it's possible. But in the countries that are not like in our westernized, civilized, they know very well these basic things and they use them. For example, lime paint is very healthy because it helps with humidity and also with insects. It's a repellent for insects. So when you have that, it feels really peaceful in your home and very comfortable. I used many years ago when I was still in Paris, like 30 years ago, in the mid-80s. I was looking also already for a lot of research about healthy habitat. So I always been interested in that. So I repaint myself, my apartment, in painting based with citrus. And this was really, really good. In the smell first, but also the feeling. It has a softness that you don't have with the chemical synthetics. And it's also the purpose, for example, of the perfume with Maria Candida Gentile. I've been attracted by her and by what she's doing, and we did this collaboration because there are no synthetic chemicals in her composition. So when you put product on your skin that has no process, chemical, industrial, synthetic process, your body doesn't have a lot of load of work to be able to manage this and to be free of the toxins. So more you're going to put on your body and surround yourself with simple material, natural material, and use also the sun. Use the sun when there is sunny. Put your duvet or your pillow in the sun, because the sun going to sanitize everything. So you don't have all these products to supposedly clear that and that and that. Not at all. You just use what is there, and the sun is a very good thing for that. You see, even I posted some days ago the bird, how he was spreading his wings and his body on the sand, on the soil and the sun, because it's clearing. And so you observe nature and you use what is there. Actually, I put my water that is filtered in a big glass jar, and every day I have 1 gallon, and I use 1 gallon of this clear water, and I put the water in a jar under the sun with the tap just a little bit closed to have all eventual, chlorine and thing evaporate, and it works. It works very well. The water has a very good taste, totally different taste than the one directly from the tap water. So you can really improve your surroundings and your health by simple things. All these things doesn't cost a lot of money. And this is the thing that we have to have in mind. Maybe for you, allopathic treatment can be great. I don't say no to these things. I experimented some years ago. I had shingles, and when the doctor that I saw, because it was so, I go rarely to doctors. I was in Corsica on vacation, and when I saw the doctor and she told me, you have to take this molecule, I was like, oh my goodness, 3 times a day, 2 of these for 1 week. No, so I tested I asked my friend bioenergetician to test for me on my body to see the response of my body. And he told me, your body is very happy with that, you have to take it. And it's true, I took it, and it really helped me, but beyond the shingle thing. This is another story, I spoke about that in one of the videos as well. So sometimes it's the right thing to take, it's to be with allopathic, but first, if your terrain is great, if for years you surrounded yourself with great elements, natural fibers, that you don't put chemicals on your skin, that you don't have all this additive in processed food and all that, your body is already lighter for your body to go through the hormonal change. Because if it's loaded with all these toxins, it has to work for that. And it can create like a big stress inside. And this stress can reflect in these side effects of menopause, in these symptoms. So some people don't have this at all. This is also, for me, like regarding the experience we have to have with our body, by our body, of the changes. Menopause is a natural cycle in the life of women. And when we are young, we have all this energy from the root center, from really down in the body, the creative, procreative energy that bring life. It's fantastic when you think about that. You have this amazing power inside of your body that in 9 months it can create, it can host life to create itself in a way in your body in 9 months. It's mind-blowing. This always fascinates me. 9 months is short when you think about it, especially when you think that 9 months, in 9 months, a human being is passing through all the steps of life on Earth, of the evolution of life on Earth. So it's quite remarkable, and this is when you have great consciousness about this phenomenon, I think you go through changes in a different way because you have a consciousness about how the body is working that is connected to the sacred of that. And when you connect to the sacred, you are linked in a way directly, more consciously with your higher self and with nature law. So the recognition and the appreciation of this miracle that we host of life developing in our bodies, imagine the amount of forces, of energy that is needed for that. When we age, also our body in a way are less, doesn't need to procreate the same way. So the energy from that center in a way elevates. And to elevate, there is a menopause that obliges us to pause. And it's like, for example, we sit in silence. I rarely use the term meditate because it implies to do something, to be in action of something. For me, more seated in silence without any expectation, just be feeling your body, be with yourselves, feeling what is beyond your body, breathing, and connect to the miracle that it's to be alive. Only that gonna make you able to transcend, because you're gonna connect with your inner power. Menopause is really to go back to yourself after all this early life of bringing life, giving birth, raising children, having a family. And life is the way it's well done, because after all this more or less is done, we can pause. And menopause is like the pause of midlife. And like that, the energy that was at the service of life creating in our bodies, developing in our bodies, now it's going to be at the service at another level. And it's like we raise this to the heart center, and after, in connection with our brain to spirit, to our higher self, it's a time where we can create, when we can be with ourselves to create, to share with what is surrounding us at the collective level. Everybody at its own way, and you don't have to think that that it's obliged to be amazing mission. Just by being yourself in that consciousness, already you give to people surrounding you something that's going to resonate in them and make them aspire to be like that. And it's going to awaken in themselves as well by the phenomenon of resonance, because we are bioenergetic beings, we are electromagnetic beings, electric, and we emit frequencies, and people are going to connect on our frequency and going to develop in themselves things that are maybe asleep. So menopause, it's a time to pause and to go back to our inner self and inner power, and to direct that power in a different way, to create differently with that power. And as things are changing in the body, it can be really challenging, especially if we have idea, concept, preconceived idea that comes from the collective, from families, from education about what is menopause. When it's presented like something that we lose something, that, we are not anymore worthy because we are not anymore woman, or this kind of thing, sure, this the body will not be recognized in his truth. And it's going to be hard because the thought you have going to also be very influential on the process. The thought you have, the belief system you have, the way you see things, this is going to be also very influential and can really interfere with the natural flow of life, of the cycle changing inside of yourself. So it's not to say blindly you have to be positive. It's beyond that. It's to take really some distance to observe when, for example, it can come a fear, or when, for example, it can come something that is not belonging to you, because you can have this idea that, oh, it's the end, menopause, it's the end, and you become old and all that. Yes, it's true in a way, and you will never stop aging. This is something that is natural. It's part of nature. So, and in the contrary, if you are on these fears and if you want to stop aging at any cost and you are obsessed by that, you're going to create a stress. They're going to create toxins, and they're going to stress your cells, and your cells going to be in trouble, and like that they will not work properly, and this is going to increase the troubles, and this is going to create after other complication. Like you can have, for example, cyst, and cyst is when something at the astral level, emotional level, is not really it's conflictual, or it's not really well lived in your relationships, and this is gonna becoming like crystallized in the body. It's like the emotional body during sleep. When we are sleeping, the emotional astral body is going away to let to the etherical body these tiny, tiny, tiny layers that we can see if we look without looking around our body. There is like a little transparent gray, white coat, subtle, the etheric body. And during the night, the etheric body is coming to repair the physical body. But if we have astral body still connected because we are in conflict, we are not at peace in relationships or things, they are a piece of astral body, they're going to stay connected, and they're going to stay connected. Where is the base, the origin of our conflict? I had this experience with art emotional situation, and I had a cyst right there, and I had all the examination, and I found nothing. And my osteopath explained to me, I was following his classes for many years as well in Paris, but he explained to me the formation of the cyst. And this made so much sense because I relate to my relationship and the emotional trouble I had. And like by chance, the cyst is gone without doing anything. So, because when I knew that it was the reason, the cause of that, by putting my consciousness, using my brain and my spirit, connecting the dot, I could not be in conflict anymore, because the conflict, in fact, was translating in my own body. This exterior conflict, it was a conflict with myself. So when I realized that, this conflict could not be anymore, because I knew how I created that thing unconsciously. But now that I was aware of it, I could connect why it was like that. And this helped me also to be more at peace with the relationship that was not viable, and to finish the relationship. And it was very interesting because this cyst, I could not miss it. It was exactly when you put your safety belt just under. And I could have missed it, but it was there. And every time it was like asking me to put my attention there. What I did, and I went to see the gynecologist, and in fact, they even told me it's no need to do a punction because there is nothing there. But it was something, and this something was for me to ask at another level and to have the answer by my friend osteopath that was teaching these things. And like that, I knew even more that for me to be healthy and for my body to work properly, I have to go through the issue that can be conflictual, to face them, but also to decide when it's time to end. Because my health is at game. I don't want to put my health in, danger by continuing a toxic relationship. So you see all this. So it's also something that is interesting because when we are at time of menopause and midlife, we can have several issues in our relationships. We can be in a wedding that is not flowing anymore like it was at the beginning. We can be maybe not satisfied, maybe. So all this is gonna affect our cells because our inner alchemy is gonna be disturbed and our hormonal balance gonna be disturbed by our thought or our emotions that are not really flowing well, that are not really light because there is some heaviness or unhappiness or this kind of thing. These are poisons, these are toxins. We create toxins. The cells, it's difficult for them to do their own work already for themselves. They regenerate every 10 years. It's like we have a new whole new body. So this is also their work. They die, so they have to excrete all the dead particles, and this is a big work, and it's a work that is non-stop. So if we put things that load the body, that are chemicals, and it will be very hard for the body to deal with that, especially, like I said before, at the time of hormonal balance changing. So this is, in essence, the base of that thing about menopause. Now everybody is different. Me, what I would do, I do this since many, many years because even when I was in Paris, I was working with people who were already working in bioenergy, and it was not named like it is now, but it's the work they were doing. Because when you bring consciousness, you change your frequency. And to bring consciousness, you have to know how your body is working. And like that, your frequency can be more subtle, and everything can flow better when your frequency is flowing subtly. And it's like also the connection you do with your mind. And I don't speak about being in mental situation. No, I speak about using your mind properly to be curious, to look for information, to see what is resonating inside of you, to connect the dot, and to take action, to decide to change that, to decide to change your diet, to decide to do some exercise, to decide. And all these things gonna raise your frequency, make it thinner and higher. And when the frequency is thinner and higher, your cells are working better. And you can process better the challenges. Especially now, we have a lot of challenges in our bodies. All of us, I see all around me and myself. I've been through a very interesting time these last months. The solar flare are very, very powerful. And these are influencing humans for sure, because we are part of nature. So all the nature is under these influences. And this is part, when something, an egg, for example, gonna open with a baby chick inside. To have this egg open, we need warm. We need something where there is heat. And this is what is happening. We have this, for me, I see this like that. We have this sunflower, strong, that affect us. A lot of people has trouble in their head. Head is also the center of, the sun. We can say it's our light is there with our pineal and all that. So that warm that we speak about, the planet is warmer, blah, blah, blah. Yes, in a way, but not in a way. On many years, on hundreds of years, we see that always been changes. And I remember when I was a little girl in Corsica, in summer, we could not walk with our little flip-flop on the asphalt because it was melting. So it was not 35 Celsius, it was much more than that. So this heat that we have is one of the conditions, for me, I see it like that, for human race to evolve, to develop, to birth to themselves at another level, at a spiritual level. Sun is also connected to spiritual and to growth. So instead of fearing that and seeing that, like sometimes the media want to show us like something that is terrible, and you have some creature who want to cut off the sun by putting chemicals in the air, you know. No, it's all well done. If there is this solar flower activities, it's because at one level we need them as human race as well to develop something. We are mutant, we are mutating all the time since ever. But the conditions outside are exactly what we need to evolve. We adapt, we develop new abilities. Look at how it is around the world, what people have ingenuity to develop and adapt to their surroundings. So now we have to maybe see this nature law differently and not fear this. So this is one thing, to go back to menopause. One thing that is very important is to don't be afraid. Fear is the most toxic thing that can happen, and they could toxify your cells and again poison your cells and make them difficult to work, to process the work they already have to do normally. So fear of aging, fear of not being worthy anymore, fear of not being attractive anymore, all this fear of because when you have menopause you are more prone to have cancer, all these fears, you know, and belief system. This is something you have to identify them when you have this coming, and see and do some research and see. Now you can go online and research about a lot of things. See what are the plants that can be beneficial. Go and see a naturopath, someone that works in aromatherapy, acupuncture. For me, I would go straight. First thing I would do, it's a bioenergy checkup to see if I'm really centered and energetically. And people who never did, often they are not centered. When we have not done this work, it's very difficult to be centered. So this is the first thing. And after that, feel, when you are centered, you're going to feel, oh, I saw this article about that plant, maybe it's the plant you need because it attracted you through others. So start by that, and after investigate different possibility, natural possibility, and also allopathic. You can, when you work with a bioenergetician, the good thing is that, for example, like when my friend tested about the treatment for shingles, he's gonna test if the product is adapted to you. It's your body who will respond, it's not him. It's your essence that's gonna answer, your frequency that's gonna respond positively, negatively, or neutral. So when you have, for example, some idea, or maybe I should take that, or maybe I should take that, or the doctor told you to take that, you have your list. When the bioenergetician did your checkup, and he has your list, and when you are centered after the checkup, he's going to check on the list everything that is listed to see if one of the elements can give you a plus, raise your energy, or one of the elements can you give you a down, lower your energy, give you fatigue, not adapted to you, or if it's neutral. If it's neutral, you can do something a little bit more deep and see maybe the posology, the amount that it's given to take is not right. So he's going to test that, and if he has a response about the amount that is not right, he's going to test the amount that can be right, and when you have to take it during the day, and how long, because sometimes some doctors say, oh, you're going to take this all your life, but it's not right, and this can create more trouble than good, because it's going to overload your body and your liver. Your liver are going to be overloaded. So when you have the help of a bioenergetician, it helps you to focus on a more personalized treatment. And this doesn't exclude to have allopathic. So maybe synthetic hormones are good for you. But me, I never felt it was right for me. You have also to be in tune with yourself. I never took them. But if you feel strongly, not because you are scared to age or because you are scared about osteoporose or all these things, it's not because you are scared, but if you feel that maybe this is a good option for you, take it, test it, and see what your body is answering. So there is no miracle cure, there is no recipe for everybody the same, because as I said before, our psychic life, psychological life is different, and physical life is different. Our metabolism is different. Our chemical balance also are different. So you have to have someone who is able to personalize a treatment. And when you have the chance to have all these different approach practitioners around you, they can even work together. And this is amazing, because you can have really a good assistance for you, because nobody gonna cure you. It's only you. So these people can help you to be on the path of, natural healing body ability to work properly. And this is very important. Now, what else about menopause? I had the chance when I started menopause. I started in France just before going in New York, and when I arrived in New York at 45, I was already engaged in that process, not having my period regularly, starting to feeling tired. And at a point I was really tired. I went to see an acupuncturist, and she was 10 years older than me. And she told me, you're going to recover your energy. Don't worry, you will see. And it's true. I think of her very often, Janet. And she was so right, and you're going to get back energy, but the energy going to be different, because you don't have the same need. As I said at the beginning, you don't have the need of the same amount of energy, quite violent in a way, at the beginning, because it's very, very strong, to be able to have the strength to conceive, to have a baby developing in your life, baby developing in your body. You need a lot of energy for that. After that, it's different. You don't need the same amount of energy, and you also need a lot of time to rest, because as I said as well, resting is a time where you are normally in silence with yourself. And when you are seated in silence, or lie down in silence with yourself, it's what some people also call meditation. And it's also when the connection with your invisible side, that is much bigger than your visible one, your invisible body, if I can say bodies, can be more and more, in a way, you can have more and more this intimate relation, because you have this time of pauses. You are not like stimulated outside by so many things and excited by doing so many things. This doesn't mean you are not excited at all anymore, not at all, but differently. And you don't have the same priorities in your life. You enjoy more to slow down, to be more contemplative. I've always been contemplative, but I'm even more now. And you go to something more simple and more essential. And by that, you connect even deeper to your truth. And you can witness without doing anything, emanate this from yourself, and this gonna spread around you and make people being with you or seeing you or just thinking of you feeling better, because they connect to your frequency, and as your frequency is lighter and more fluid and more in tune with nature, because you are in tune with your nature and nature, others going to benefit of that, even at thousands of kilometers. And the goodwill you have for people in your heart, the good thought you have, no thought of envy, jealousy, fear, all this is very not fluid, very dense energy. The other one are lighter and are more light energy, and people through distances can be impacted by that. So when there is a say, you know, to heal the world, you heal yourself first, it's really that. Because imagine if more and more people are doing that, we create an egregore that is much lighter, where things are more making sense naturally, simply, not with all the nonsense that we are going through. But the nonsense we are going through, it's also necessary to be on an extreme of nonsense, to desire to go back to something more simple and more like evident. So it's an amazing process of the human race evolving towards the spiritual race, using more their mind but with their heart. And this is not denying the power of the basic center of the body, not at all. It's wonderful. Without that, without the sexual part considered, we will not be alive. This is what makes us alive. It's a power, very, very powerful there. But it's even more powerful when it's connected to the sacred of it, because it's quite magical. It's really magical. The attraction and all that, and these two seeds, and how all this is, it's really fabulous. So this is what I wanted to tell in English. It's more or less the same thing I said yesterday. It's always hard for me to translate and to repeat exactly the same. And also I changed, you know, since 3 years ago when I started the video. Things, it's like I am seeing a different, deeper layers now, and seeing even more how all is connected in myself, around myself, and all of us together, and how it's up to us to create, using our mind properly connected to spirit and our heart, another world. Because at the unconscious collective, we created the world as it is now. So the good thing is that if we create this mess, we can also create something beautiful. And we can create something beautiful only if we are aware about who we are as human beings, and how our differences are our richnesses, and how they are important. Because imagine how it could be boring if we are all the same. What is exciting is to be all different. And there is this amazing organization in the invisible that make us coming like we are in the time we are as we are and witnessing about our experiences. It's for that I think it's important. It could be, it seems egoistic many years ago to speak about ourselves and our lives. I don't know if you remember, I was not watching TV because I don't have TV, but I knew about the reality show. And in fact, it was like a seed of that. People were really attracted, what I knew about that, by reality shows, because in a way, they were curious to see how others are working with themselves, living. But in fact, these things were a seed for each of us to be more in tune with our own reality and our own lives. And the crisis that we had 3 years ago, the sanitary crisis, that it's called, in a word that I pronounce rarely because I don't want to give, energy to that word, but I'm going to say it again, to COVID. It's mean for me, it's mean it's with, vide in French, it means void. It's be able to be with the void and to bring void in things that are not useful anymore. And it's obliged us to be with ourselves, to be with that void, to make the void of things that are not useful. So it has been a good thing because a lot of people learn or relearn how to connect with themselves, with their essence, with what was priority for them. And I see this, for me, we created this sanitary crisis very high at the unconscious collective for us to have this pause, like what happened with the confinements and everything. And I'm beyond politics, I'm beyond the World Health Organization, I'm beyond all that. All these are creation of the collective unconsciousness to be able to be part of the process of evolution of human race. For me, I see it like that. So it's like evident to me. It's even difficult to give definition about what I perceive about that, but it's like so evident. We created that. We are creators. So we created this situation to be able to go back to ourselves and to make big changes. And things cannot be like before, never. It's impossible, it's never been, but it's not this time, it's even stronger not possible. So when I see people say, oh, I'm impatient with this and to go back to what it was, it's impossible. Like you are aging, you cannot go back when you were a kid or 20 or 30. It's the same thing. You cannot go backward. And your present is right there all the time. It's like there is no future neither. It's there. Every time it's the present made with that past and the future that is already there, because the next second is already, in a way, could be the future. So it's for that, when you are going through challenges, don't forget that everything is changing all the time. And if you don't put resistance to what is the challenge that is there, like, it's like when we give birth. If we put resistance to let go, we're going to suffer more. It's going to be longer. If for any reason at the unconscious level we are unable to let go because there are deep fears, then maybe they come from transgenerational, maybe they come from hundreds or thousands of years ago. We don't know what is imprinted until under what pattern we are reactivated. So if we don't go through a process, embracing the process, and without resistance, we're going to suffer a lot. It's going to be harder. We cannot go back. We are aging. It's a reality. We're going to become old, if God will, I can say. if our higher self will, because for me, God is there. It's in my higher self. When I was a little girl, I say, God is inside of me. And it's that. So we don't know exactly why we came here. So we cannot avoid it. We cannot avoid the experiences. These days I'm going through a lot of administrative tasks that seems to never end, because there is always a glitch somewhere. There is always, now everything is on computer and it's difficult. Something is not working. I had to start again a file for 3 times. It took me 2 weeks because the time they answer, the time they see, and then finally I have to cancel and start again and again. It's never ending. But this, for me, I cannot say I like it. I don't like it. But I see it as like a manifestation of all the changes that are going all around us, that are going at every level. So it's like very disturbing. It's like very difficult to go through the process, to install something new, to create a new file, to resolve an issue, an administrative issue. Everything is like, wow, so complicated, so long, seems so long, but and require energy and time, and being in front of this computer, sometimes I can't anymore. But this is what is going on in the world. We're going to face big changes. I said 3 years ago, it's going to be narrower and narrower. Be ready, brace yourself, because it will not be easy. And we can see it's not easy and it's not ended. I had this information that it will be lighter end of 2025, beginning of 2026. So as I was informed about that, I say, okay, now we have, instead of raging and no, I said, okay, so now we have this cosmic alignment of planets that is showing us in a way that we are facing this big change, and that it's lighter. But it's going to be lighter when everybody going to do his homework, because this is going to create an egregor that's going to be lighter with a wider consciousness. And all the challenges that are coming are to help to go through this process, are catalysts of that change and of that growth. So one day at a time, one step at a time, try to take care of yourself, to, in a way, prepare yourself without fear, because once again, you came in this time at your soul level, not at another time. So it's because you have to live your life in this time, so as it is. So this maybe can make you more, bringing you more peace. I hope so. And let you guide it. If you are connected with yourself, if you sit in silence, if you are intimate with yourself, you're going to be guided by tiny things. Tiny things. You have an idea, a desire. Oh, I would love to do that. I just being in the kitchen, I felt to do something I never did, paradoxically, in my life. Me who cook, I never did a brioche. And last day, my son, 50 years old, surprised me. He said, look, I did a brioche. I said, oh, you bought it already made? He said, no, I made it. I was like, what? You made this? And he said, I love to do that. I love to do this. Now I'm going to do my bread now. And I do my pizza dough. And I was like, wow. And I said, and after all, this is what fed so many people since 100 years. And it's pleasant to do. And I was like, wow. And me, I never did a brioche. I'm almost 70 years old. I did so many things. I did so many sweets. I did so many, but I never did that. So I said, I'm curious. I'm going to see if I succeed like my son did. So I just did that. I don't know how it's going to be, but I am on the process of that. And I enjoy that. And it's exciting because it's something unknown, something. So try to be with the unknown with excitement. Because again, you came at this time to live this the experiences. So try to see them with excitement or with fear. Try to be aware about what is going on with the financial system worldwide. and to try to feel what is right for you to do. I may do a video about this if I can succeed in having the connection with this guy, to do a live video about that. We are connected, but he's very busy and we don't know when we're going to do a live together. But we're going to try to do something about that, to give some informations. So this may be the topic of another live that I'm going to do. I'm not how I could say, specialist in finance at all, not at all. I can witness only what works for me since the last, I can say, my experience about that since the last 15, 20 years. How I went through that. I went through having nothing at all and starting again, and don't have a lot, but realizing that finally I succeed in doing something. So this is quite interesting because I never even been afraid of don't have, and this is special, and especially in the very challenging time when I had absolutely no work and I had to live for years on my savings. So it's quite interesting process of letting go, and menopause is also about that. Letting go the false idea, letting go the belief system, letting go the youth. Yes. If you let go, if you are happy and appreciate to be alive and to see beauty around you and to create beauty, this in return gonna feed you. You're gonna feel satisfied, fulfilled, and this gonna glow. And no matter if you have one more wrinkle or if your skin is going down and that. And what's the point about that? Sure, it's not really nice, but this cannot stop you to be in love with life and to appreciate and to have gratitude. And especially at menopause, there is also something really nice. You go toward 60 years old, 70 years old, like I am going now in a couple of years. And it's wonderful because I have this time for me. And this morning I was feeling tired. I had a very early meeting at 6 o'clock with I think it was, the guy was in Bolivia. It was a webinar about health, and I was about a tool that I try to learn about, and maybe I'm gonna do a collaboration and a presentation like I did for Trinity Pro, that I use regularly every night, actually for the shingle and herpes that I had on my lips regularly when I had the stress. And I think it works. I'm quite impressed. I may speak about that. So I'm learning another tool. They contacted me, and it's complicated to me because I have to work on PC that I never did. I'm not PC mind at all. I'm an artist, so it required me a lot of energy and attention, and it's very hard. So I have to follow webinars and things to learn how to use the tool, and to be able after to use it for me and to witness about it. So we are always learning, you know. So I was really tired after this 2-hour session, and I said, oh my goodness, I want to sleep. I want to sleep again. Up to 10:30, to 12:30, noon 30. And I was in gratitude and saying, my goodness, this is such a luxury to be able, when I feel to rest, to go and to rest. If it was when I was younger, I will have to go to work. I will have to take care of my children. I could not do that the same way. But now, this is the beauty of aging. You can have this time for yourself and use it to treat yourself, to be friend with yourself, to give good to yourself, because when you're going to give that, give good to yourself, this, as I said, going to emanate, and this is going to give good to others around you, even without you knowing that you are doing it. So if you have questions, you can send me messages. I answer to all the questions. That takes me a lot of time. And I'm going to check here if I see some question about menopause. But I think I said, I witnessed about what was right for me about natural approach, but I'm not telling don't do allopathy at all, because this can help you regarding you. And, nobody can be in your skin. I don't give advices, never. I just give information. That's it. But I don't give advices because I'm not in your skin. I cannot know what is right for you to do. You have to be intimate with yourself to feel what is right for you to do. And it's going to come. It's going to come. You're going to start to have little signs and to have little idea that you never had before, because you are yourself going to start to, if you are in that state of asking to be enlightened, to be informed, you are yourself by little details around you that we can call synchronicities or sign or things. You're going to be attracted by this, but it's you are yourself. You're going to make you see. And if you are curious, you're going to go and check what is this thing, what is this symbol you see. You're going to go online and check, or maybe already it's going to resonate in you, and you're going to connect, and you're going to, and it's like that. And this is spiritual evolution, because you use your mind connected to spirit, because you have your consciousness that enlarge, that be more wide, so you can see more the messages, the information that you are yourself, you own yourself, not the one of your neighbor or your partner or anyone. You are yourself going to give to you, because you are a complete being, not only a physical body, but that invisible dimension is there just waiting for you to give attention to it, to even know that it's existing, acknowledge that it's existing. And when you acknowledge it exists, it manifests more and more and more. So it's wonderful. It's a wonderful process. So thank you very much. And if you have questions in private message, I can give you information. And if you need any information I can give, I will be happy to do it. I can just direct you or recommend you some, or direct you on some, readings or things like that. But mostly, you will be directed by yourself to what is right for you. Bye.